to just introduce myself, Joanne Hennig, one of the co-founders and curators with Photo Art Pavilion. And I'd like to also introduce to you my business partner, Jessica, who's on the
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. And, I think it's a great way to learn things and by failure. That means you're actually doing something, you're jumping in, and you're really getting the experience, the hands-on experience. And I know Joanne has a lot of information. So yeah, let's get to it and go down this journey.
Welcome to this month's J&J Photo Art Marketing Cafe. I'm Joanne Hennig. She's Jessica Lempin, and we are going to move forward with art photography marketing fails, learning from your mistakes. Hi, I'm Joanne. She's Jessica. All right, so let's figure out why is it that we want to discuss failures. So I've been around this subject for a bit, and I know Jess and we run our business based on what did we do right, what did we do wrong, and I think it's an important thing for all of you to kind of get your arms and heads and hearts around that. Having a failure doesn't necessarily mean that you're not being successful. You're recognizing and learning from your marketing mistakes, and that usually leads to improvement and to growth and to better decision making and to personal resilience, also gaining a competitive advantage that leads to ultimately long-term success. So mistakes provide opportunities for improvement and growth. When you acknowledge and analyze your marketing failures, you can identify areas that need refinement and make the necessary adjustments. It's a continuous learning process. And with that, it helps you evolve and become a more effective marketer. You have to understand your past mistakes. Again, by analyzing them, you can make better decisions for the future. And that's the whole premise of what we're going to talk about today. Looking at what we've done in the past, analyzing that, and doing things better in the future, learning from our errors, allowing us to avoid repeating errors, and making informed decisions and choices that align with our goals and our objectives as we move forward in marketing our art photography. Learning from mistakes cultivates resilience. It teaches you to bounce back from setbacks, to remain persistent and maintain a positive attitude, even in the face of adversity. This resilience is a valuable trait for any artist and any marketer. We've all been down this road. We've had disappointments, but when you bounce back, you're stronger, you're better, you're wiser, and you're more clear with your message. So understanding marketing failures can help you gain a competitive advantage. Your ability to adapt and learn from mistakes sets you apart from competitors who may be stuck in outdated and ineffective practices. And ultimately, learning from your marketing mistakes contributes to your long-term success. And that's what we're all about here. Instead of seeking a quick fix or a temporary solution, you're investing in a sustainable and effective marketing practice that supports your art photography and your career over time. So I'd like to take a deep dive into a bunch of things here on this screen that you can see. Lack of clear audience, target audience, neglecting your online presence, underestimating the power of social media, not leveraging your SEO for online visibility, weak or inconsistent branding, ignoring email marketing opportunities, pricing and selling mistakes, disregarding art exhibitions and galleries, not learning from feedback, and also the process of learning, which is what we're going to go over right now. So let's dig into the lack of a target audience for a second. So failing to define a specific target audience is a common and significant marketing mistake. Jessica and I have made it here at Photo Art Pavilion, but it has detrimental effects initially. But once you identify your target audience, boy, oh boy, do the successes start rolling in. So let's talk about why it's essential to define and understand your target audience. Without a clear understanding of your audience, you risk creating marketing materials and campaigns that lack relevance. Your message may not resonate with anyone, making it less likely to capture anyone's attention. Not knowing your target audience can lead to insufficient use of your resources. You may spend time, you may spend money on marketing channels, strategies or other content that don't align with the preferences and interests of your potential clients or fans. So think about that. And failing to define a target audience can result in missed opportunities. You might not recognize potential niches or markets that are genuinely interested in your art photography. By not catering to these segments, you miss out on potential sales and potential collaboration. Without a target audience in mind, you may end up engaging in scattershot marketing efforts. This is a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of effort, because you're not focusing on those who are most likely to engage with you and with your photography. And one of the benefits of defining a target audience is the ability to create a personal connection with your clients or your fans. You can address their needs, their concerns, their desires directly, build trust and loyalty over time. When you zero in on the right target audience, you're more likely to have that interaction that you've been seeking on social media and other elements of your marketing practice. So vague marketing equals poor results. That's obvious. So you could just keep slapping stuff up onto social media. That's becomes a meaningless flow of just noise and imagery. Really doesn't attract the people that you want to attract. When your marketing messages lack a clarity and a specificity, the audience may not understand what the artist or the photographer in this case is offering. As a result, potential clients or fans may overlook your content, causing a drop in engagement and a drop in conversion rates. You want to have limited interest and engagement. You want to avoid limited interest and engagement. You want to avoid the high bounce rates. You want to avoid low conversion. You want to create effective social media posts, and you want to have very effective branding opportunities. That's what comes from being clear with your marketing message and with your target audience. If you neglect your online presence, you can have a detrimental impact on your visibility, your credibility, accessibility, and growth in the art world. And just think about that for a second. We are digital creatures. Our art is digital. Our presentations, 99% of the time, or 95%, I should say, are digital. So we want to make sure that our online presence as an art photographer has a clear visibility, credibility, and accessibility to help us grow in the art world. To succeed, it's crucial to maintain and continually improve your online presence using a platform to showcase your work like Photo Art Pavilion, engage with your audience, and build an artistic identity. Your online store and your social media increases your visibility to potential clients and fans. So neglecting these aspects means fewer people will discover your work. A robust online presence also lends credibility to you as an artist. It shows that you are active and committed to your craft, which can instill trust in potential clients. Your presence online makes your work accessible to a global audience 24/7. So you might be sleeping, you might have your head on the pillow, but somebody might be perusing your online gallery. So make sure that you're not neglecting your online store and that you're not missing out on potential clients and fans who might come across your work at any time of the day or night. Neglecting your online presence can lead to a weak or inconsistent artistic identity. Online platforms are where you can communicate your style, your vision, and your message cohesively. And your online presence is crucial for sales and other opportunities. So don't neglect your online presence, because what that will do is it will limit your sales potential and will limit your credibility across the board. So let's not underestimate our social media's power as well. I know it's there, it's a big animal. We have to wrestle with it every day, but underutilizing social media platforms is common. It's a common mistake, and it hinders the success of you, the photographer. So let's not create a limited exposure, because social media provides a vast and diverse audience. Neglecting to utilize these platforms, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or something else, will result in limited exposure for your art photography. You might not reach as many people as you can with a strategic and active social media, without a strategic and active social media presence. You know, I was talking with a photographer this past weekend. We were away at a doing a workshop, and oh, I hate this platform and I hate that platform, and so they're not doing anything. And I'm like, well, find one platform that you like and work it until you've gotten it to the point where you're getting interaction and you're getting responses with your audience. And when you feel very comfortable with that, then maybe you want to move on to another one. But taking all social media platforms, from Instagram to Twitter to TikTok to Facebook and so on, Pinterest, and doing none of them right is a big, big mistake. Yes, social media has a lot of power, but you have to make sure that you're doing it right and you're doing it successfully. So try to focus on one and maybe two, and then keep building from there. Because social media is such a powerful tool for building and maintaining your brand awareness. Failing to use social media effectively can lead to weak or inconsistent branding, making it harder for your audience to recognize you and remember your work. So a lot of us use watermarks. A lot of us, I use my personal watermark. I also am very obviously aligned with Photo Art Pavilion, so I try to bring those two branding elements together when I'm doing my marketing. You guys should be doing something very similar, at least having your personal watermark on your work, or hashtags, whatever it is that identifies you and brings the brand awareness to your audience that's looking through your social media. You also want to use your social media often to promote your exhibits, any sales that you may have had, any events that you have that are upcoming. By underutilizing these platforms, you may not effectively reach your target audience with important announcements. So again, focus on those social media platforms that you are comfortable with, so that your audience is comfortable with you. And then those exciting announcements are going to be a little bit more well received among your target audience and your fan base. By building an online community of fans, clients, this can lead to long-term support and long-term loyalty, which is something that is necessary, I feel, in the art business. You want loyalty. You want your audience to have something akin with you, with who you are. They want to feel that heart-to-heart connection. And I think that having a strong social media presence helps you get there for sure. So don't miss out on these opportunities to build a dedicated following. And of course, social media can be a direct channel for selling prints, selling merchandise if you have that, securing commissions, meaning somebody wants to hire you to do a specific job, whether it be a commercial job or a portrait job or whatever it is. Social media helps bring in people that are connected to the art photography world. And if they're aligned with you and they're loyal to you, they'll look to you for other things in addition to your art prints. They'll look to you for other things. So don't neglect your social media, your powers of social media. Now, of course, I mentioned a little bit earlier that you want to have a strong and consistent branding. It's vital for conveying your message, your artistic message, for building trust, and for connecting with your audience. If your branding is weak or inconsistent, you run the risk of diluting your marketing message. Just another kudos back to Photo Art Pavilion. Again, we were in the field this past weekend on a workshop. And of course, lots of conversations are had. And we got a lot of positive feedback with regard to Photo Art Pavilion. And wow, you guys are everywhere. You guys are doing great. We love all the things that you do. Well, how does our audience know of all the things that we do? We have a pretty strong brand, and we work very hard to remain consistent with what it is that we're doing to convey these messages off to you in social media land. Also, we do a lot of direct email marketing as well, which you guys know I'm a big fan of that for sure. All right, let's talk about some top tips for strong and consistent branding, because I find it to be so very, very important. Obviously, here you want to define your artistic identity. So start by defining your unique artistic identity. What themes, what styles, what subjects do you consistently explore in your work? Understand your own identity as an artist is the foundation to your brand. So what I mean by that is, as we get into um, posting on social media or throughout our direct email marketing and so forth, we want to make sure that we have consistent hashtags with our artistic identity and things along those lines, keywords in our posts that help bring people. When people see you, they see your name, they're going to immediately identify with quote unquote nature art photography or street photography or abstract photography. Make sure that those buzzwords are included in your branding. You want to be able to create a clear and engaging artist statement on your art page, on your storefront, that explains the concepts and the themes and the motivations behind your art. Your artist statement should be consistent and featured prominently on your website. And those of you that work with Photo Art Pavilion, prominently on your storefront. And also it should translate over to your social media platforms. I find that there's a lot of inconsistency from platform to platform of what it is that you're saying to your audience, and from your website to the platform to from a website to a social media platform, and then from, let's say, from Facebook to Instagram. Is there inconsistencies in what you're doing? Is your headshot 3 different headshots? Is your logo 3 different logos? Get that in line. Is your statement about who you are and what it is that you do, is it 3 different statements or is it one? Be consistent, be clear, and remain focused on giving that a real compelling artist statement to your audience. Maintain a consistency also in visual elements such as your logo, your watermark, any typography. So if you're using a specific font, carry that through to all of your marketing. Using all of these elements across all of your marketing materials and your online platforms becomes a pretty strong way of nailing down your brand, your branding for your art photography. You want to ensure that your social media profiles align with your brand. I just mentioned that. Using same profile picture, cover photos, and consistent imagery and messaging. I find that what I do is, if I change a cover photo on Facebook, I make sure that I go and change it on Instagram, LinkedIn, and so forth. But I also have a dual identity. I have a business, Photo Art Pavilion. I have a business, Joanne Hennig Photography. So I find that my LinkedIn profile is more about speaking directly to photographers and the benefits of Photo Art Pavilion in their life. And I find that my Facebook and my Instagram is more about reaching my art buyers. So I have a little bit of a dual identity, so I do break the rules a little bit, but I find that it's necessary for what it is that I do for myself. You want to be focused on the quality of your work and the branding efforts that you do, rather than trying to be everywhere at the same time. So I mentioned this a little bit before. Like, don't, if you're not interested in TikTok or Pinterest or Twitter, then stay away. Okay, just stay away and be consistent with what it is that you like, to maintain a strong and consistent presence on the platforms that you really, really feel comfortable with, rather than spreading yourself so thin that you're making no impact anywhere. And then you're just really wasting time and resources, like we talked about before. And your brand can evolve over time as your art photography style and goals change. So be open to making adjustments while maintaining a core consistency that reflects your artistic identity. But again, if you're adopting and evolving and you're making adjustments, make sure you do that consistently across all the platforms, not just in one spot. All right, the big elephant in the Zoom room, direct email marketing. So not using email marketing to connect with your audience is a marketing mistake that can lead to missed engagement, lower conversion rates, limited revenue, and a lack of control over your communication. To achieve success as an art photographer, it's essential to incorporate email marketing into your strategy to connect, engage, and nurture your audience effectively. Okay. I'm a student of my own self, so I do send out my email marketing on a monthly basis. I do get responses from folks that I send out emails to. That was nice. I was actually on the phone with a friend who was looking for some information on Nashville. I was just in Nashville in the spring, and she said, "Well, where were you?" I was on a photo workshop. Oh my goodness, I saw that. I'm gonna have to join you on one of those workshops. They look great. And how did she remember about the workshop? I sent an email out the week before I went away, announcing that I had just gotten back from one trip out to Yellowstone, and that I was planning on heading out the door, turning around, repacking my suitcase, and heading out on another workshop. And she had read my email and now is engaged. She's an engaged audience. She's not a fan, she's a friend. And you never know what you're going to what a friend is going to want to do to align with you and your art and your photography and all of the other things that you're doing with your art. So get those darn direct email marketing newsletters set up and ready to go. Remember, Photo Art Pavilion offers a service called Sidekick. You could go to our website. At the bottom of the page in the black navigation on the bottom, there's a button there for Sidekick. Check it out. If you need help with getting your direct email marketing set up, done, whatever, let us help you, because this is really where you're going to control the message and the responses back and forth with your audience. All right, incorporating email marketing yields positive results over time. Over time. You guys are like, oh, I only have 3 people in my email list. What do I do? You send them the email. And over time, 3 turns to 6, and 6 turns to 12, and it grows and grows and grows. Before you know it, you'll have a couple hundred or more that are engaged with your marketing if you keep your email marketing fresh, properly branded, fun, light, not always so salesy. We talked about all of that in the past on some of these J&J cafes. But artists have to engage with their audience on a more personal level, and direct email gets that personal level connection done. It's meaningful because people that receive your emails at some point know who you are, have met you, have shook your hand, have received a business card from you or something. So there is a personal connection. Your email list becomes the go-to channel for important announcements, ensuring that your fans and your clients are well informed about any upcoming exhibits, any new work that you have, and any special events that you are running. As I just mentioned, workshops, possibly pulling in another attendee based on just a nice friend that woman I golf with. So there you go. So you have to be able to expect a boost in sales and requests after effectively using email marketing to promote your offerings over time. So here we are, the end of October, and you're all sitting there panicking because you haven't sent out any email marketing newsletters in quite some time, and we are in the heart of the holiday season. So I'm going to suggest to you all, get it done this week and get another one done before Thanksgiving and get another one done early December. But try to, even if it's, again, 3 people on your email marketing list, get something out to them with your branding, with your personal message, with your style. All that has to kind of come together. If you want Jessica or I to review something that you're about to send out before it goes out, let us know. We'd be happy to take a look at it for you. Your fans and your clients appreciate that personal touch of your emails, which lead to stronger and lasting relationships. And of course, through the email marketing, you're going to collect valuable feedback and insights, which help you make more informed decisions about your art and about your marketing. We talked about that very early in this presentation, like being informed, listening to feedback, that helps you make adjustments. Making adjustments makes you stronger. When you're making adjustments, you're acknowledging that you did something not so great, but that failure leads to a success. That failure leads to a success. Now that we've got everybody focused on getting their marketing done and getting things out to their audience, we want to make sure that our pricing is in order. We want to make sure that you're not undervaluing your work or that you're not overvaluing your work. Okay, because these two things can have a significant impact on the income and long-term success of you as the art photographer. So failing to account for all production costs such as materials, printing, framing, and marketing expenses can lead to underpricing. We at Photo Art Pavilion, as you guys know, we kind of take care of that for you with our 100% commission setup. But if you're running your own website, you're going to need to make sure that when you put a price of something for sale, that you're taking into account the cost of production, materials, printing, framing, marketing expenses, shipping, credit card processing. Uh, all of these things have to come into play when it comes to pricing your art. You also, if you don't do that, you're not going to recover your expenses, which will result in some financial stress and undermining your ability to sustain your photography art business. So make sure that when you're pricing your artwork, that you're considering all the expenses that go around the cost of one print, a frame print, a metal print, etc., and so on. And keep meticulous records of all your expenses associated with producing and promoting your art, because this ensures that your pricing covers both direct and indirect costs. You want to be careful with all of that. You don't want to be setting your prices too low and create a perception of low quality, right? You got to be like, oh, you can have this for $3. Yeah, but then what's the value of your art? What's the value of you as an artist? So be careful not to set your prices too low. You may believe that if I set this price so darn low, that I'm going to have 1 billion sales. I'm going to be the McDonald's of art photography. Well, if that's what you want to be, go for it. But I'm suggesting that you're an artist and you have value. Your equipment has value. The time that you spend processing your work and creating that end product has value, and doing all of the things that lead up to presenting it in front of a potential buyer or a fan or a friend, or that those things all have value. So make sure you include that in your pricing so that you're not undervaluing your artwork. But then again, we have the flip side, setting our prices so high that potential clients perceive your work as overpriced. Unless you are Art Wolf, who has, I don't know, 50 books on the market, has run workshops with 50 attendees, has been hired by National Geographic, and so forth. Really be a little bit mindful of how you price your work and not to be in an overpriced situation. Yes, all the things I spoke about earlier, your gear, your production time, all of these things come into play. But at the same time, research your friends that are in this business, that are in art sales. Where are they at with their pricing grid? How does your work stack up against their work? And get yourself into that mindset, because again, if you're pricing your artwork as if you're a master photographer and you have a following of, I don't know, 300,000 people, then you're probably going to miss the mark. But if you look at where you are in your journey as an art photographer, where your audience is, how engaged everyone is, that can also help you bring your pricing into line. Try to be a little bit consistent with your pricing, because if you get into too much of the like one-off special, I mean, if you have limited edition pieces, obviously those are going to be set aside from the print on demand type artwork that you're selling. So you want to be a little bit careful with how you, if you have an art piece that steps outside of the standard pricing structure, make sure you well define why it's outside that structure. If it's a limited edition, if it's you know, I don't know, something totally different outside of your realm. I'm a nature art photographer. If I happen to get on my system and I start creating and playing and I'm going wild and I come up with something outrageous, I may put that into my gallery as a one-off premium priced art piece. And I'll explain to my audience why it is so. It took me 18 hours to create this art piece. Whatever. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say. And you want to consider offering a payment plan. I know this is interesting, but most of us don't do that. But I know in the larger orders that we get through Photo Art Pavilion, when a customer contacts us and they're purchasing more than one piece, uh, we will talk to them about a down payment on the art purchase, and then balance due upon receipt or balance due upon shipping. So if you have a buyer that's coming in and laying down a large sum of money, consider offering them payment plans to help them get over the hump, because they may walk away saying, "Oh, geez, I don't have $3,000 today. I don't have $5,000 today." But if you were able to offer them a payment plan, they may come right through and say, "Okay, I'll take it. Here's my $1,000 down payment, and we're going forward from there." All right, as an artist, we want to not disregard art exhibits and galleries. I Jessica and I still own Long Island Photo Gallery. We had a physical gallery, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of good stuff that goes on in a physical gallery. And I do recommend that you, as artists, you get yourself set up into whether it be online exhibits, in gallery exhibits, that you're doing a lot of other things to reach your audience besides just digital, because ignoring art exhibitions and ignoring galleries will limit your exposure as an art photography, and also opportunities for recognition. When you enter art exhibits, whether they be in person or virtual, usually there are awards that are associated with them, and those awards should be prominently displayed throughout your journey as an art photographer, whether it be on social media, whether it be on your business pages. All of that has to be front and center. Also, a great kudo to send out a direct email when you have an exhibit that you may have garnered an award for. The art exhibits are going to have a limited reach in the amount of people that walk through, but at the same token, the gallery or the exhibit hall or the online exhibitor will also be participating in showcasing your work, and also pushing out announcements to a larger audience. So you have your own audience of who it is that you're looking to reach to. So does the gallery, so does the exhibitor, and so forth. So you want to be able to kind of stay connected with all of that. It creates a lot of credibility and validation when an art gallery or an exhibit accepts your work. Makes you feel good. When they don't, it doesn't make you feel so good, but it also makes me, I don't know, for me, makes me try harder. Like, okay, so I didn't make it into that exhibit, but I will follow that exhibit, and I will see what pieces did make it in as compared to mine that did not. And it helps me grow a little bit stronger as an art photographer. With these exhibits and gallery shows, you're going to have amazing networking opportunities, working with other artists, the collectors, gallery owners, the curators. All of this stuff is very good, leads to collaboration and other professional opportunities, which I'm sure you're all interested in having. It could also lead to press and media coverage, which art exhibits and galleries often attract media attention into their spaces. So you want to make sure that you're, tapping into that. And if you happen to be in an exhibit or a gallery, and I would ask the question, so what is it that you, dear gallerist, are doing for us, the artists? You're putting this exhibit up on the walls. How are you attracting people to come in? I understand, me as an exhibitor, I have my own audience, but what audience do you have, and how can you, exhibitor, exhibition hall, gallery, how can you help increase visibility to my work? So those are important things too when you're making some decisions about exhibiting in a physical space. It's going to help you grow being in those physical spaces. Again, it's validation for your online presence. How is that, right? What? A physical presence in a gallery validates your online presence. Absolutely. Because as you're standing next to your art and people are talking to you about your art, they're more inclined to say, I want to see more. Well, if they want to see more, how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to see that through social media, and they're going to see that through your website or your storefront, and they're going to be on the new person that's going to join your email marketing list. Because that's where you're going to get that long-term impact. Those people that you meet at art exhibits, they have a long-term impact on your career. Your artwork may become part of a gallery's collection or attract the attention of collectors who continue to support your work over a period of time. You're getting good recognition in the art world, favorable reviews, winning awards, accolades, all this stuff helps elevate you and your status as an artist. And of course, participating in exhibitions allows you to engage with local or global art communities. This is important because we tend to be, as artists, especially as photographers, like we're so isolated in what it is that we're doing with our art. But when you're involved in these community events, you kind of pull yourself out of that comfort zone a little bit. And now you're standing in the middle of a room or in the middle of a Zoom meeting with your art on full display to many, many, many people, many of whom you don't even know. But this helps build your reputation for what it is that you do in the art community. So don't ignore art exhibits or art galleries because they will hinder your career if you do so. You want to maximize your exposure and take advantage of these opportunities because it's essential to actively seek out these exhibits and these gallery showings to build relationships with industry professionals and also leverage the credibility and recognition that comes from showing your artwork in a physical space. Well, that's a lot on one slide, but here we go. We're going to learn from our failures, okay? We're going to acknowledge our failures. We're going to recognize when our marketing efforts have failed. We're going to accept that. That's the first step. It's like the alcoholic is my step one. I'm going to accept my failure, and I'm going to learn from what it is that I did wrong. I'm going to avoid the temptation to blame external factors. Big one. Don't blame anybody else but yourself. It's your business. You are responsible. So recognize when you made a mistake, own up to it, and then move forward and adjust. Investigate what went wrong. Examine the marketing campaign that you did, the strategy, or any effort in detail. Identify the specific aspects that didn't perform as expected. So we're going to talk a little bit about analytics, I think, coming up. You want to dig deeper to find the underlying causes of the failures. It might be related to audience targeting, as I mentioned, messaging, timing, or other factors. So, the message itself might be right, but the target audience might be wrong, or the target audience might be right, but the messaging might be wrong. So understanding the root causes is essential for preventing similar failures in the future. Now we want to collect feedback from our audience, from our clients, from our peers. Our peers. We're not in competition with one another. We're a community. Feel open and free to discuss with your peers anything that goes around your art photography because it's important to get other people's feedback. Analyzing the data, such as engagement metrics and conversion rates and sales figures, all of these insights can provide valuable information about why marketing efforts fail or succeed. So when you're advertising, you're doing small ad campaigns, even through Facebook, if you're doing the boost, Facebook or Instagram, you're going to get some metrics there. So we want to make sure we're looking at that data and utilizing it for future marketing efforts. So we want to contrast the failed marketing efforts with successful ones, look at things side by side, identify key differences in these strategies, in the messaging and the target audience that contributed to the success of other campaigns. It's important. Data is key. I mean, the internet runs on data. Why aren't we running on data? We should be. Think about adjusting your strategy based on any analysis that comes from looking at your efforts, looking at these insights, modify your marketing strategy. Might involve refining your messaging, adjusting your target audience, or altering your approach. Just keep in mind that adjustments are necessary when things don't go as planned. Okay, failure is the foundation of success. So don't worry when you make mistakes, when things don't go perfect, but we have to make sure that we're looking at what didn't go perfect and why, and then making that analytical adjustment moving forward. Set those clear goals, define your market, your goals, your objectives for future campaigns. Ensure they are specific, measurable, achievable. Learning from failures allows you to set more realistic and informed goals. I'm going to read that again. Learning from past failures allows you to set more realistic and informed goals. Test and repeat, implement and revise strategy, and continuously monitor performance. Regularly test and iterate your marketing efforts to make incremental improvements over time. Incremental improvements. In the very beginning, I said, we're going to start with 3 people in our email list. And maybe the next month we might have 6, or in 3 months from now, we might have 12 or 15 or 30. Incremental growth is what we're after. Okay, we're after incremental growth. We can't hit that home run out of the park from the get-go. We have to practice. All right, practice is what's going to make us better. And that's doing all these testings and reviewing our notes, our goals, objectives, and looking at those things that we can measure, so that we can reach out when we need to, if we can't get things going forward on our own, to other marketing experts and mentors and peers for advice and guidance. Learning from others who have experience can provide valuable insights and new perspectives. I would not underestimate that at all. Again, reaching out to your peers. If you see a photographer that is getting 90 likes and has a big audience and so forth and so on, like, feel free to reach out and say, hey, how the heck did you do that? How'd you get there? Would you mind helping me? Maybe you want to throw them a bone, a few dollars or something for their time, but feel free to seek out advice and get yourself a little bit motivated moving forward. Because one thing I know for sure is that this marketing landscape is constantly evolving. You have to stay informed on emerging trends, technologies, and best practices in marketing. And again, being adaptable and willing to adjust your strategy to remain relevant is so important. I mean, every industry changes over time. I've seen this photography business change. I've been in it since 2007. I've seen so many changes in this industry. It's mind-blowing. But if Jessica and I, didn't adapt to it, we probably wouldn't be here talking with you today. So I encourage you guys and gals to do so. Talk to us, talk to one another, and constantly evolve with your marketing efforts. Monitor that performance, track your key performance indicators and your metrics, as I had mentioned earlier. And all those tiny improvements need to be acknowledged and celebrated. Positive outcomes can motivate you to keep refining your marketing strategy. Keep a record of the stuff that you're learning from your marketing failures. Documentation can serve as a real valuable resource and a reference for future campaigns, whether you do it digitally or you have a notepad or something, but scratch things out. I find, for me personally, scratching things out with my pen on a paper helps open up my mind a little bit, because I have to block out all the other side things going on in my life, because I'm literally putting pen to paper. So I encourage you guys to do that as well, and stay resilient, stay persistent, because marketing failures will always be an ongoing process, I'm sorry to say, but consistently analyzing and adapting and refining your efforts can enhance the effectiveness. So we want to make sure you're going to build that pretty strong brand coming off of all of that. So here we are, Jess and Joanne. Our website, photoartpavilion.com, our phone number, and our email address. I encourage any of you, to reach out to us whenever you have questions to ask of not only presentations that we just made, that I just made to you, but also to reach out with any difficulties that you're having in any aspect of your art photography business. We love chatting with you guys and gals, and we love being helpful for both of you, for all of you. So just want to thank you for being with us, with me today. I think we're going to turn this over to the Q&A. So making mistakes is a natural part of any marketing journey. I encourage you to be resilient and willing to learn from your experiences, ultimately turning your marketing failures into success. So having said all of that, I have a sore throat. I'm going to turn this over to Jessica, who, before we get to the Q&A, Jessica wants to share a photo art pavilion marketing failure with you.
Thank you, Joanne. That was a lot of information.
There was tons.
That was tons. So everyone just, once we have it up and on YouTube, definitely watch it and just dig in again, because there's so much information there. But yeah, so a pro tip for today comes from a painful failure back in the day when we first started under Long Island Photo Gallery. And it was just basically understanding who the audience is that we're looking to sell artwork. So in the past, our marketing efforts aimed to appeal to a broad demographic targeting both genders and all age groups. However, we did a deep dive into our marketing analysis, which prompted us to refine our approach. Because let's face it, the younger crowd, particularly those in their 20s, aren't investing in fine art photography or really just art. It's usually, the quick pick up at a store and go kind of art, the home goods and so on. So through persistent ad campaigns and boost posts, we refined our target demographic. That's what you want to know when marketing, like who is your audience? So anytime you're running your post, just standard post, or if you're reviewing your marketing efforts, you can go into the professional dashboards, both Instagram and Facebook, and actually see the age groups of the people that are interacting with your art. That will definitely give you a better understanding who is actually interested in what it is you're promoting. So the takeaway that we learned was that individuals aged 45 and above exhibit a significant higher likelihood of investing in art for their homes. So obviously, it's kind of the standard thought process right now for us. It's second nature for us to understand that. But in the beginning, we all start from the bottom and trying to understand where we should spend our marketing dollars. And that was what we came to understand. So in conclusion, today's professional tip is to recalibrate your marketing strategy. Focus your efforts on engaging an audience aged 45 and older, as they represent a more receptive marketing group or demographic for your brand. Now, this is a failure that we understood because there's a lot of marketing bucks being spent and not getting the results that we wanted. And until we made that observation, we were able to change the focus and really extend into that next realm of marketing. Now, I had another one, but now it left me, so never mind. Hopefully it'll come back during the Q&A. But that is really like such a big fail, if you will, from not understanding the basics. So again, check out your professional dashboard and really see what age those people are. Is it more men than women, or is it more women than men? And really just better hone in on your audience. So there's a lot of information today.
You can get a lot of data and information by just boosting a post for like $5 or $10. And if you're working with especially Facebook and Instagram, that data is like, you do the boost and then boom, there's your data. I got this big glow. I got glowing. But yeah.
Yep.
So, sometimes spending $5 or $10 on a post that you thought was going to get a higher engagement. So now boost it and see who actually is reviewing that post. And now you know how to kind of structure your target audience a little bit better.
So I do.
Women too, for us too. Women seem to be a little bit more receptive on the art side of life. So, we do a little bit of tweaking in that regard too.
Now, I do remember my second pro tip. So, Joanne, as you were going over the presentation today, it was the talk about what platform to focus on with marketing and so on. So, I know for myself, my art's represented through my Instagram account and my Facebook account. Now, when I post, I can actually compare the two platforms. Again, going through your business dashboard, you can see anytime you have a post go across the board where there's more interaction. So my art gets more interaction on Facebook than Instagram. So I know that my brand or my network on Facebook is a little bit stronger. So that's something to compare too, whether you're on, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, I don't know, TikTok, wherever, feel free to dig in and see what platform is working better for you, because again, that's where you're going to put your marketing dollars towards. You can focus on just one platform versus all of them. So just wanted to put that out there. Another little tidbit.
Yeah, no, that's important stuff. So it's good. I like it.
All right. Now, anyone
All
have a
right,
question?
Q&A. I know we went very long today. I told Jessica my presentation was going to be 20 minutes. Haha.
You fit. All right.
Yeah, do we have anybody who'd like to ask a question today? Or we fried? Did I fry your brains? I might have. It's okay. All right, well, since there aren't any questions, I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up. You do have, as I had the one screen with our email, our phone number. Feel free to reach out with any questions or comments that you might have about this presentation and about this subject. I do encourage you, today is October 23rd. By the end of this week, get an email out to your audience. Again, if it's only 3 people on there, just send it. Your brand, your links over to your store. Get something out this week. Get something out like 2 weeks later, 2.5 weeks later, right before Thanksgiving. I would encourage something along the lines of gratitude as a newsletter going out. And then again, you got to start hammering away. We've got all that fun stuff coming up. Black Friday, Manic Monday. I don't know. What's the Monday called?
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday. It's like,
Oh my goodness.
it's hard to compete with all of that because the emails, I know my inbox get flooded. So I try to do stuff that is like, I don't know. I don't try to send out a Cyber Monday or Black Friday. I try to do something a little bit before and a little bit after so that I'm getting the right eyeballs in an email setup, because you all know email gets crazy that time of year. But get your coupons if you're offering any coupons, if you have any special artwork, something new that you've photographed, a new story to tell about what you've been up to photography wise. These are all interesting things that your audience that's engaged with you want to hear. So I would encourage getting that stuff going this week. And you'll get the next marketing newsletter from us as well coming up.